So that piece you shared with us, it really struck a chord, didn't it?
Oh, definitely.
This whole feeling of being completely stuck, like, pushing and pushing, but going nowhere.
Yeah.
And it digs into this idea that maybe, just maybe, what feels like being stuck is actually, fear.
Exactly. And that distinction is, it's really important, isn't it? We kind of accept stuck as this fixed state.
Right, like it's just a fact of life.
But this challenges that.
Yeah.
It asks us to look a bit deeper, what's really going on underneath all that frustration.
Yeah, and the author just lays it out so relatably. The job that's not quite right, feeling out of step with where you live, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing the work, you're journaling, trying things, but that feeling, that deep sense of just stagnation just hangs around.
It really does. And you see others moving, seemingly, and you feel like you're just stuck, treading water.
Totally. It's disheartening.
And then comes that moment in the piece, the friend saying so directly,
oh, yeah.
You're not stuck, babe. You're scared. There's a difference.
That. You can almost feel the air change when you read that, can't you?
Absolutely. A total perspective shift.
Because fear, as the piece points out, it's sneaky. It wears disguises.
Very good disguises. Often very practical ones.
Like, oh, I've got bills to pay, or I'm just not qualified for that.
Right. Or the classic, but what if it doesn't work out? These sound like, responsible thoughts.
Right.
Adulting.
Sensible. Logical, even.
But if you peel back that layer, like the author suggests, what do you find underneath? Often it's something more vulnerable.
Fear of failing. Fear of what people might think.
Yeah. Or just that deep down fear of not being,
right.
good enough. Fear makes us focus on what we might lose, the steady paycheck, the known routine.
And it blinds us to what we might gain.
Exactly. It obscured the potential upside of stepping out.
It makes me think of the author's own example, leaving that corporate job. The hesitation wasn't framed as, I'm terrified.
No, it was all about practicality.
Right. Oh, the timing's wrong, or the job market's tough. All very reasonable shields.
Shields. That's a great word for it. Rationalizations that hide the real fear. The lack of confidence, maybe, in handling change.
And that leads to another point the piece makes, this trap of mistaking comfort for actual peace.
Ooh, that's a subtle but important one. Comfort is the absence of immediate discomfort, right? The routine.
The familiar, the predictable paycheck, maybe even some external validation like a title.
Yeah, surface stability.
Yeah.
But peace. Peace is deeper. It's alignment. Fulfillment.
And you can have all that surface comfort, but still have that pit in your stomach, that low hum of anxiety.
Absolutely. That feeling the author describes, like the weekends are just a pause button. Yeah. Borrowed time before you go back to something that isn't quite right.
In there.
And it's not just in your head, is it?
Yeah.
The piece talks about the physical stuff.
Yeah, the migraines, trouble sleeping.
That constant buzz of anxiety. Our bodies often know before our conscious minds fully admit it, don't they?
They really do. Our bodies send signals. Have you noticed that connection yourself?
Oh, for sure. The mind-body thing is real.
And that image the author paints, sitting in the car, just sitting there asking, is this really it?
That moment is so visceral.
And the realization that the fear of staying the same, of a stagnant life, that can actually be scarier than the fear of change.
Yes. That becomes the bigger fear. The fear of a life unlived, maybe.
Yeah.
It flips the script on what's motivating you or holding you back.
And it's that underlying fear, isn't it, that fuels those limitations we put on ourselves.
Those internal narratives, yeah. The stories.
The ones we repeat. Oh, some people can take risks, but not me.
I'm too sensitive, or I need to be realistic.
Right. Manage expectations. These stories, they feel so solid, so true.
Like facts. But they're built out of fear, and if we don't challenge them, they dictate our lives. They become these invisible walls.
But the piece argues, and this is crucial, they are just stories. They're not set in stone.
Exactly. They can be interrupted. We need to actively, consciously interrupt them.
And that interruption, it doesn't have to be like burning everything down.
No, not always this huge dramatic gesture.
It could be applying for that job that feels terrifyingly out of reach.
Or ending that relationship that just drains you.
Or even just saying no more often, saying no to things that don't feel right, that aren't aligned.
Precisely. Freedom, the author suggests, is often quieter than we think. It's internal first.
Giving yourself permission.
Yes. Permission to want more. Permission to step outside what just feels safe or familiar.
I love how it's described as this slow loosening, like a tiny, gentle unraveling.
It's not about becoming fearless overnight. That's not realistic for most of us.
No. It's more like chipping away, gradually, consistently.
Like the author's journey, the freelancing, the therapy, saying yes to scary things even while still feeling scared, that feels more real, more attainable.
It really does, and that gets to the core of courage, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Courage isn't having no fear. It's deciding fear doesn't get the final say. It's acting despite the fear.
And that message is so important for anyone listening right now. Feeling scared. It absolutely does not mean you're incapable.
Not even close. In fact, that fear, it can be a sign, a signal that you're actually on the verge of something really important, something meaningful to you.
That's such a powerful reframe. Instead of fear being a stop sign,
Right, like danger, turn back.
it's more like an indicator light. Warning. Something you care deeply about is involved here.
Yes, the outcome matters. The potential on the other side matters. Fear shows up because you care.
So the fear itself is evidence. Evidence of the stakes, evidence of the desire.
Exactly. Evidence that there's something potentially wonderful on the other side of that leap.
Yeah.
And, what that leap looks like. It's different for everyone.
Totally unique. Like the piece mentions, it could be a career change for one person.
Setting boundaries for another.
Or just letting yourself be truly seen. Vulnerability.
All valid leaps.
Which brings us to that killer question the author poses.
Oh, the big one.
Right. If fear wasn't part of the equation, if success was guaranteed, what would you do?
Whew. That's a question to really sit with, isn't it?
It really is. Take some time with that one, truly.
Because the answer, it cuts through all the noise, doesn't it? The shoulds, the doubts, the perceived limits.
It gets right to the heart of it. Your authentic desires. What you really want.
And the final nudge in the piece is just so key. Don't wait. Don't wait for that moment you feel 100% ready.
Because, spoiler alert.
Huh.
Right.
That feeling might never fully arrive. That perfect, fear-free moment, probably not going to happen.
The power is in starting, taking one step, even with the fear, even with the uncertainty.
Because, as the author says so beautifully, your fear might feel loud right now.
But your life, your potential, it deserves to be louder.
So, yeah, as you think about all this, just hold on to that core idea. You're probably not stuck.
You're likely just afraid.
And that fear, it isn't some permanent wall. It's, what was the line? Just another part of your becoming.
I love that. Part of your becoming.
So maybe spend a little time with that guaranteed success question. See what bubbles up.
Yeah. And then maybe think, what's one tiny step? One small, maybe slightly scary step you could take towards that?
Just remembering it's a journey, an ongoing process of figuring things out.
It would be nice.